Welcome, everyone, to the George Washington University campus. It is so exciting to see all of you here, and we have an audience joining us via live stream today to talk about the role of media in reaching out and engaging the diaspora politically, economically, and socially. I must tell you that this is a dream come true for me personally. Some of you may know that my research, pretty much since I was a student in a university like this, has been focused on engaging diaspora for development in general and investment specifically. It's been my true life passion, and I am so excited to have so many friends and colleagues and new friends here that feel the same way. So thank you very much for coming today to GW to discuss, I think, this very important topic. This is a fitting venue, this particular university. It's very interesting. I was looking at some of our international student enrollment statistics just this week, and I realized, since 2010 here at GW, our enrollment overall across all campuses has stayed relatively the same, growing just slightly, but our international student numbers have increased 50%. Diasporans are key to the George Washington University, and I've been here for 14 years as a faculty member, and I see it and feel it in the classrooms. This is a space where when you say the word diaspora, you don't usually have to define it, because the audience is living and breathing it. And it's a very exciting space for an academic like me who is interested in this topic. It is a university whose diasporan student population has gone on to be heads of state, leadership in industry in their countries of origin, and have taken active roles in the citizen sector, fighting for diaspora voice, advocacy, and impact. Of course, George Washington University houses one of the only diaspora research programs at an academic institution. And I'm proud to say that we have scholars from around all 13 of our different schools here at the university actively engaged in research on how diasporas make a difference. We also have our Center for International Business, Education, and Research, GW Cyber, for whom one of the main focal areas is diaspora investment and entrepreneurship. And through their funding from the U.S. Department of Education, they engage in outreach, teaching, and research activities to promote the very topic that we're here to talk about today. This is a place where students study migration, identity, and international business as an actual course, and do study abroad programs where they actually meet diasporans who are making a difference back in countries of origin. This is the home, and has been for the last two offerings, and soon will be for the third offering, of the African Diaspora Marketplace, co-sponsored by USAID and Western Union. And of course, this is a place where you can attend conferences just like this one. I want to thank my colleagues from GW Cyber, particularly Alexis Gall, for all of her hard work. My dear colleagues at the Calvert Foundation, Lynn Moran and Sarah Gallagher, who have helped bring this event to life. And most importantly, Rebecca Walker from Audio Now, who has been the logistics coordinator extraordinaire, if I might say for myself, as well as great visionary, helping us put this event together. So without further ado, I'd like to turn over the mic to Becky Walker. Please welcome her.
Well, thank you, Liesl. It's certainly been an honor working with both Cyber, Calvert, IDEA, and everyone on the committee. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone here for coming today. We have a lineup of esteemed speakers who are all experts in their field, and we're very honored to have them here with us today. Today should yield not only fruitful discussions, but we're hoping to create actionable agendas by the end of the day as well. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Audio Now, let me tell you a little bit about what we do. We connect listeners to broadcasters in over 75 languages, serving 90 nationalities. We become an indispensable connection to those who are hoping to access in-language news from home. We're a media technology that connects thousands of broadcasters to audiences who are really hungry for news. We do this through a low-barrier platform where you place a telephone call and can listen to your programming without needing the internet. You simply dial a phone number and you have instant access. And so in an era where there's almost unlimited minutes here in the U.S., these calls are essentially free for anyone who's trying to access this news. Audio Now became the largest diaspora broadcasting platform by accident. In 2010, when the earthquake struck Haiti, we realized what a powerful lifeline our service could be. With the country's phone lines either full or destroyed, there was no information that was able to get out from the country so that people could know what was going on in the aftermath. And so there was one station left in Haiti that stood amongst the rubble, and we were able to connect their content to our phone lines. And when we did that, there was almost an audible sigh throughout southern Florida and New York as friends and family finally knew what was going on in the aftermath of the earthquake. And as stations began to rebuild, we connected them one by one to the platform, and we now serve over 300 Haitian radio stations in the community. But we found out that one-way communications aren't always enough. People don't want to be talked to. They want to be talked with. And so we've been creating these engaging features so that people can connect back to radio stations as well. We have flash polls and in-depth surveys so that listeners can communicate and report from around the world. So if you're interested in how the Vietnamese versus the Ethiopian communities view climate change, we've studied that. Or how the Punjabi community has dealt with gun control here in the U.S., we have answers for that. If you're looking for more information on remittance habits from Somali and Haitian communities, stick around till about 1:30 and there'll be a great presentation on that. But one of the strengths of our platform is that we do this all in language. Oftentimes when you ask listeners around the country what they think, if you ask them in English, there'll be either no response or a different response than if you ask them in their own language. And though my Greek is a little bit rusty from the year I spent in Salonika, I do remember what the root of diaspora means, and it means to scatter. So think of those who are sown, as seeds are, across the world, and they're establishing new roots. We're not trying to disconnect the roots from home. We're trying to strengthen both sides so that there's two roots being grown. There are nearly 60 million first and second generations here in the States, with millions of others who self-identify as hyphenated Americans. And it's our goal to serve all of these communities. So here at Audio Now, we aren't here just to connect the news to communities, but we're here to listen as well. And next up, we'll be able to hear from Jennifer Price, the CEO of the Calvert Foundation.
Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, Lisa. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here with you today, and all of you coming in over the line. It's a really exciting day, and it's the exciting start of a week, Global Diaspora Week. And we're very connected to it here at Calvert Foundation. I'll tell the story about how we came into this work and how we're deeply now working with the USAID and the Department of State. Calvert Foundation is an impact investing fund. We're actually a nonprofit financial services firm. And what we do is we raise money from U.S. investors, and then we invest that money around the globe in the form of loans. We invest in countries all throughout the globe, and we also invest here in the United States. But the real essence of what we do is connect individuals to communities. And about 2 years ago, we began a journey of exploring how do you really connect people to what they deeply care about. And through that work, we started to come across the work of diasporas. And what a treat. When we started to unfold that work, we found a lot of innovation, a lot of vibrancy in the communities. The diaspora community is also unique and diverse. And we began to then work more deeply in that way and came across the great work that the Global Partnerships Office was doing. And we then came to a partnership where we are now the managing partner of IDEA, the International Diaspora Engagement Alliance, which is really a hub, really a place for diaspora to come and connect around entrepreneurship, connect around innovation, connect around philanthropy, and we look forward to the idea and the opportunity to connect around investment. And so we are on a journey of creating more investment products that we hope that can connect U.S. investors to their country of heritage, and to really therefore invest in the economic vibrancy of their country of heritage. This is not to replace remittances, this is in addition to. And in that way, we've created a platform. It's called vested.org, where you can go and purchase a note for as little as $20. So today, we have investors invested through the Calvert Foundation to communities around the globe for as little as $20, as large as $20 million. And over 20 years, we've raised $1 billion through 13,000 investors. And all this money is out in the world doing good. Some people call this work impact investing. It's the opportunity to invest for social and financial return. But a deeper level of the work that we do is how do you engage people? How do you reach people? How do you communicate with people? And how do you create something really connected among the investor community as well? And that's where the discussion today is very exciting, and we're still in a learning process ourselves. But it's clear that the opportunity to leverage mobile and technology is tremendous. We've been beginning to explore that opportunity through our work in leveraging the platform we built, vested.org. And even if you build the best platform in the world, how do you bring it out and reach people with it? And that's the piece that we're starting to unpack now. How do you create campaigns? How do you leverage communication and that technology to connect and engage people around the globe? And so with that, you'll hear more about our work as the day goes on, but I just wanted to welcome you all. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to not only today's work, but the work throughout the week that will be shared and discussed. It's an exciting week, Global Diaspora Week, and everyone enjoy and have a wonderful time. Thank you.
So I'm also serving as MC for the day, so you're going to see a lot of me. I apologize for that up front. But as you can see, if you look in the program for today, the way things are set up is that we will be having a morning keynote today, followed by a panel, then lunch, and then we'll have two panels in the afternoon following an afternoon keynote. So follow along in your programs. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce Constance Jumis. She is the Director for Partnerships in the Secretary's Office for Global Partnerships at the U.S. Department of State, and she will introduce our morning keynote.
Thanks, Dr. Riddle, and good morning, everyone. I'm going to make this very brief, but I just also wanted to say happy Global Diaspora Week, since this is indeed our first ever Global Diaspora Week. I'm Connie Jumis, once again, Director of Global Partnerships in the Secretary's Office of Global Partnerships at the Department of State. And I'm part of the team from the state that helped launch IDEA, the International Diaspora Engagement Alliance, which, as Jen mentioned and as Lisa mentioned, this is a very close partnership with the Calvert Foundation and USAID. We're just very, very proud of what's been done over the last few years. I'm going to make this very brief. I'm just here to introduce this morning's keynote speaker, who also comes from state. David Duckenfield is the U.S. Department of State's Deputy Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs. He has an extensive professional background, deeply rooted in both communications as well as diaspora outreach, including executive positions in PR, in diaspora outreach at communications firms, tech giants, and even the NBA. He's truly a champion of leveraging media and technology for effective public engagement, and we're proud to have him here representing state and our communities at this Global Diaspora Week kickoff event. So please help me give a warm welcome to Deputy Assistant Secretary of State David Duckenfield.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for that introduction, Connie. And as she mentioned, I run the outreach, the mostly domestic outreach for the Bureau of Public Affairs at the U.S. Department of State. And actually, on the way over here, just your neighbors to the left, on the way over here, Lisa, I was thinking that I think the Department of State is like the only parcel left in Foggy Bottom that GW doesn't own. I know, we're hunkering down there, right? But on the behalf of the Department of State, I wanted to welcome you all here to this Global Diaspora Media Forum. And first off, I wanted to thank the IDEA Partnership, the George Washington University School of Business, and Audio Now for hosting this great event here today. As Connie was mentioning, prior to my time here at State, I worked at Yahoo, where I was in charge of outreach to the U.S. Hispanic market. So you can imagine that an event like this with a theme of engaging the mobile diaspora and its focus on technology is particularly close to my heart. As I'm sure you know, as we've been talking about, this is kicking off the Global Diaspora Week, which began Sunday and runs through Saturday with more than 65 events like this occurring all over the world. And I'm going to use the acronym GDW, so I have to say Global Diaspora Week a lot. GDW is dedicated to diaspora communities and their contribution to global development, and is focused on raising awareness, enabling collaboration, and enhancing learning among those working with diaspora communities in their own communities, like right here. The beauty of GDW is that it enables all interested groups to discuss and deliberate on diaspora-related issues in cities, towns, college campuses, regardless of the size or location. So you might ask, why is diaspora engagement so important to the U.S. Department of State, and why are we so interested? I think the single most important reason is that there are over 60 million Americans who are first generation or second generation descendants of immigrants. This is the defining trend of our era. And the United States is the largest single migrant destination in the world. That's probably no news to everyone here in the audience. But what it does mean is that there's a growing network of migrants who are coming to the U.S. and becoming hyphenated Americans, as Lisa was referring to. What's unique about these hyphenated Americans is that they have a special affinity, whether through family or cultural ties, to countries all around the world. And through this affinity, they are naturally positioned to engage in development. Diaspora communities are often the first movers, even beating government to local challenges, whether it is via humanitarian response and exchanging timely information of on-the-ground conditions, or investing in emerging business opportunities. In fact, just last week, my office hosted a call between officials from the White House, the Centers for Disease Control, USAID, and the State Department, with over 200 members of various African diaspora groups from around the country, to engage them on our government's efforts with the ongoing Ebola epidemic, and to let them know how we could help and how they could help and seek input from that diaspora. And from this example, you can see that diasporas are increasingly seen as important members for both sending and receiving individual country government strategies. In this case, a global health and security strategy. And these strategies are aimed at affecting political, economic, and cultural outcomes, things that we work on every day at the Department of State. And what we're seeing, that whether in direct partnership or an initiative, or more broadly seeking to support diaspora communities, diaspora engagement should involve support for capacity building within their communities so that their organizations can operate in a more self-sufficient environment. We have learned that distinct diaspora communities have often common interests and common challenges, and can benefit from connections and opportunities to work together and engage, opportunities exactly like what we're doing here today. The State Department believes that diaspora communities have the potential to be the most powerful partner an engaged government can bring to bear, which is why we launched the IDEA Partnership together with USAID in 2011. Together with private sector partners, IDEA promotes and supports creative partnership-driven diaspora initiatives in investment and entrepreneurship, philanthropy, volunteerism, and innovation in countries and regions of diaspora origin. Since much of IDEA's work is performed in D.C., we're always eager to get the word out locally on how the State Department is engaging diaspora communities to further our shared development goals, and more importantly, to recognize their tremendous contributions toward development worldwide. And while diaspora contributions to development are now garnering more attention in the global research agenda and by governments worldwide, and with good cause, One particular area that goes largely unnoticed is the potential impact of diaspora youth and next-gen diaspora leaders in the development arena. That is exactly why we want to support events like this one. Tech-savvy and engaged audiences like you represent great potential. For proof of that, we don't have to look very far. This fall, my colleague, Special Representative Andrew Bryan, and his Office of Global Partner Initiatives led a diaspora tour culminating this week during DBW. They visited 9 college campuses around the United States, from Florida to Seattle and Maryland to Ohio. These events brought together faculty, students, and community organizations and individuals to encourage creative partnerships and open dialogue with these dynamic diaspora communities. What we love about colleges and universities is not only that you already have self-organized student diaspora organizations, but that you also have the energy and creativity that is needed in America's development efforts. At each of the diaspora tour stops, it was not hard to find great examples of individuals getting involved. From Sister Cities International staff connecting cities to each other in cultural exchanges, to a young Kenyan student who started his own social enterprise, selling beads here in the United States that empower women entrepreneurship and help raise money to build a clinic in his home country, to an engineering professor who leads volunteer trips for students to Latin America. Over the course of the Diaspora Tour and the Global Diaspora Week, one theme in particular has become evident. In this era of globalization and interconnectedness, never before have we seen both the speed of communication and the efforts to mobilize and organize around causes so quickly and efficiently. And by leveraging technology and tools like the Call to Listen platform that Audio Now offers, diasporas can get connected and bridge the communications gap faster and easier than before. The State Department recognizes the potential of forums like this for harnessing the power of our growing interconnectedness. We leverage this reality by using new technology for crowdsourcing information needed in humanitarian response, piloting new ways to mobilize distant communities and online learning, using local 2G and 3G networks, and engaging in global, cross-cultural conversations using online and mobile-friendly platforms. Recently, in a one-hour virtual discussion, Assistant Secretary for Cultural and Educational Affairs, Evan Ryan, was able to respond to students' questions from 271 schools in 12 countries. Another way we use innovation and technology to help further American diplomacy and outreach is the State Department's Virtual Student Foreign Service Program. This program gives U.S. citizen students enrolled in college the opportunity to work as e-interns directly with State Department overseas embassies and consulates or with our headquarters right here in D.C. For the 2014-2015 academic year, nearly 600 e-intern college students are working remotely on 300 unique projects. In the past, projects have included initiatives where these e-interns led an English language book club for youth in Libya via Adobe Connect, and then continued online discussions via Facebook. In another instance, e-interns served as virtual education advisors for in-country youth interested in studying in the United States. As this virtual student foreign service program and other initiatives I've highlighted demonstrate, the State Department has and will continue to look for innovative ways to work with the diaspora. Such partnerships are critical to successful American outreach and engagement in today's more open, instantaneous, interconnected, and information-intensive era of international relations. As Secretary Kerry said in his first speech as Secretary of State, in today's global world, there's no longer anything foreign about foreign policy. Our diaspora communities are living proof of that. In our cities and towns, and in our college campuses, like here at GW, you have the power to positively influence and impact communities both here and abroad. Whether you are a diaspora or part of a larger community, or you simply have an affinity for positive development overseas, you are our grassroots ambassadors, and we welcome your energy, vision, and engagement in amplifying America's development efforts around the globe. Thank you once again for being a part of this important conversation, and I wish you all a productive, engaging, and enlightening day that inspires you not only to think about leveraging technologies for diaspora engagement, but also to find ways to put your ideas into action. Thank you.